I guess they're doing some sort of like invisible wall fuckery. Because I think you should be able to see it from here. Looking at the positioning, I think it might actually be like Eli's lab. Like maybe it's over over the scrapyard. Well, the fight here is still ongoing. And now suddenly there's a lot of tall structures. I guess it makes sense, you can't actually see it from there. Too much stuff in the way and they're not that tall. Should definitely be visible from here though, and I guess it's not quite Eli's scrapyard. And now they're gone. The 2 chimneys and a smokestack made way for 1 chimney for slightly bit to the right.
Major fracture detected. Automatic medical systems engaged. Morphine administered.
Oh, brother, step into the cart! The handbrake, brother! Release it and come down! Greetings, brother. And so we meet at last. You are to be commended for avoiding my traps. The work of a man who once had too much time on his hands and now finds time for nothing but the work of salvation. I suspect you have little wish to remain in Ravenholm, so I will show you to the mines. As for me, a shepherd must tend to his flock, especially when they have grown unruly. Follow me, brother, and tread lightly, for this is hallowed ground. Over here, brother.
Response rules. We knew early on that we wanted a lot of dynamic dialogue in-game, so we needed a system to handle it effectively. We aimed for a system that allowed sound designers to add and tweak lines without involving programmers, made the dialogue tightly responsive to the game's state, and minimized repetition. With these requirements, we created the response rules system. Whenever a character speaks outside of a choreographed scene, this system determines which line to deliver. Rather than picking up lines directly, character AI is constantly flagging opportunities for speech whenever a relevant event happens. Spotting the player, getting hurt, firing a last round in a gun, encountering overwhelming enemies, and so on. With each opportunity, it sends the response rule system a packet of data about the game's current state, and the system returns the most fitting dialogue line, if there is any. This setup allowed our sound designers to create a detailed decision matrix for dialogue. For example, a character might have a different set of lines for announcing a reload while under fire versus after the end of a fight, or if only one ally is left standing, or if there's a strider in sight, etc. By the time we shipped Half-Life 2, we felt we'd only scratched the surface of this system's potential. It became a core feature of Episode 1's Alex, and went on to power the dynamic dialogue in our later games, including TF2's classes and the cast of Left 4 Dead.
Stay close to me, brother. Over here, brother.
The real final arena. Very late in the development of Half-Life 2, when we were reviewing the entire game for final improvement opportunities, we decided we did, in fact, want a real finale for Ravenholm. The rooftop fight wasn't enough. After some discussion, we chose to add this final fight through the graveyard with Grigori alongside the player. It was risky, development-wise, but we felt the game needed it. Since we were near the end of production, we had a mature set of gameplay tools to work with, but even more importantly, by this point, we understood our own game. Making a game is often a process of learning what it is you're actually creating. Why is our game fun? How is it different? What are the most important elements? As we built the game and watched playtesters go through it, we learned answers to those questions and, in turn, got better at making it. So the graveyard came together quickly and required far less iteration than many earlier areas of the game.
Aim for the head. Come to the light I carry. Come. Be free, my child. I remember your true face. You meant no harm. Careful, brother! May the Knight of Lights be with you! Follow me. Quickly, brother. Woe betide thee, child. we, brother? Hurry while I hold the gate! Go quickly! Free, brother! Onward to the mine! Go quickly! Free, brother! Onward to the mine! Go quickly! Farewell, brother! I fear I deliver you to a darker place. May the light of lights illuminate your path. Look to your own salvation.
It's not like how I remember. I remember him getting absolutely swarmed, and then... But I guess I never tried to actually save him. Yeah, I think if you get too good at this game, some of the cool sequences, they kinda don't work anymore. I need to play worse.
The complex route the player takes to safely navigate this mineshaft gives them plenty of time to see what's waiting for them at the bottom. And surprise, it's headcrabs. Honestly, it's often headcrabs. But in this case, it's poison headcrabs, which are fun by themselves, but a real riot when you add fast headcrabs into the mix. These two guys make a great combination. Neither is particularly dangerous on its own, but together they're incredibly lethal. Once poisoned, a single hit from a fast headcrab is enough to kill the player. And this is what biologists call symbiosis. At least that's what we think.
Lacerations detected. Emergency. User dead.
It got day fast. Like the entire canal water hazard section was during sunset. Now I spent like 5 minutes in the mines and it's just proper day, not even morning. I guess you're meant to spend a lot longer down there, but it was still like night proper when we were in the graveyard. Satisfying music though.
Sniper Alley. This section of Game Track was added late in development, after we moved Eli's lab and Ravenholm to come before Coast. While you might think that we build the game linearly, we actually split up into 3 different groups and worked in parallel on different sections, starting mostly in the middle of the game. Each group's first pass focused on nailing down the core of their section before they moved on. And then once we had a rough version of the whole game laid out, we went back over each section to polish it, adding successful elements from other areas and removing what wasn't working. In some cases, such as in Ravenholm, entire sections were moved. And then, after Ravenholm was relocated, we needed a new piece to connect it to the coast, which is the area you're entering now. Given the time constraints, this short section was built using existing, proven gameplay elements, like snipers and combine soldiers.
Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more exciting. For instance, when enemies miss the player, we subtly redirect their shots toward breakable objects nearby, adding mayhem and creating that action movie feel. We also employed physics to add hints. We created what we called ragdoll magnets across the game to make enemy corpses fall in interesting and dramatic ways, such as off ledges or into the path of a train. Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more exciting. For instance, when enemies miss the player, Half-Life 2's redirect their shots toward breakable objects nearby, adding mayhem and creating that action movie feel. We also employed physics to add hints. We created what we called ragdoll magnets across the game to make enemy corpses fall in interesting and dramatic ways, such as off ledges or into the path of a train. Half-Life 2's physics gave us a Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more exciting. For instance, when enemies miss the player, we subtly redirect their shots toward breakable objects nearby, adding mayhem and creating that action movie feel. We also employed physics to add hints. We created what we called ragdoll magnets across the game to make enemy corpses fall in. Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more exciting. For instance, when enemies miss the player, we subtly redirect their shots toward breakable objects nearby, adding mayhem and creating that action movie feel. We also employed physics to add hints. We created what we called ragdoll magnets across the game to Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more exciting. For instance, when enemies miss Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to Half-Life 2's physics gave us a variety of tools to make combat more exciting.
Snipers. The Half-Life 2 team was never very large, so we were always looking for ways to create new gameplay without high asset production costs. The sniper is a great example. It has no actual model, just a laser beam, so it required no art or animation support. When it dies, it simply spawns a Combine Soldier ragdoll and launches it out the window. Despite that simplicity, we got a lot of unique gameplay from it. We were especially happy with how it interacted with the physics objects in the game world. Players are used to exploiting explosive objects near enemies, so it felt fitting to have an enemy that flipped that dynamic when the player was in cover.
medical systems in blood loss detected. Emergency. User death imminent.
Winston's been hit.
Patch him up and get him to the back as soon as he's stable. Gordon Freeman. It's incredible you made it. We've been getting communications from Alex. I'll see if I can reach her again. Follow me. Over here, Dr. Freeman. Over here, Dr. Freeman. Over here, Dr. Freeman. It's Leon. We're all clear. And I've got Gordon Freeman.
Dr. Freeman, you're kidding. Look, I've been on the line with Alex. Her father's been captured.
Over here, Dr. Freeman.
Eli is indispensable to the liberation.
Leon, and I've got Gordon Freeman with me. Over here, Dr. Freeman.
You made it through Ravenholm, thank God. I need your help. They've taken my father. He's been taken to Nova Prospect. One of us tracked the ship that made off with him and Unit Boston. While the trains are still running, I'm gonna hitch a ride. Here's where you come in, Gordon. I need you to make your way along the coast until you get to Nova Prospect. It used to be a high-security prison. It's something much worse than that now. But I think it's still easier to sneak in than to break out.
You want him to take the coast road? He won't last 5 minutes on foot. It's spawning season for the antlions.
That's why I called you, Leon. I was hoping you still had the scout comp left with you last summer. The one my dad rigged with the Tau cannon.
Yeah, good idea. Hold on a sec. Norco, bring the buggy out. Put it on the dock right now. Gordon Freeman will be driving it.
Will do. The ammo crate on the back.
Okay, Alex, we're all set.
Thanks, Leon. Gordon, I haven't driven the coast in over a year, but I have no reason to think it's gotten any safer. Meet me in the depot where the trains unload. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in Nova Prospect. Bye for now.
Bye, Alex. Okay, Doc. Before you hit the road, you might want to grab some med kits, restock on ammo, maybe check the map, see where you're headed. There's an ammo supply crate on the back of the car, if that's any comfort. Stay with the car, make use of the thumpers. You'll stand a fair chance against the antlions. I'll radio ahead to let the next base know you're coming. Shore point.
Coast kickoff. Coast kickoff. This interstitial scene came along late in development to connect Ravenholm to Coast. Noticing a trend? Quite a bit of the connective tissue in our games comes together late. In this case, that meant cutting corners wherever possible. We didn't even have time to animate Alex on the monitor. These kinds of scenes are always a challenge to make interesting, and we didn't succeed with this one. It's a good example of what happens when NPCs are treated like signposts without adding character to them or the scene. The result is a forgettable moment where the game's seams show. But that's the nature of development. You only have so much time, and you have to decide where to spend it. Kleiner's lab and Eli's lab were much more important, so that's where we focused our efforts.
To New Little Odessa. Come in, Odessa. Do you read?
Snipers. The Half-Life
Half-Life 2.
Sniper Alley.
We remember the free man.
Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in, Odessa. Do you read? Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in, Odessa. Do you read? Shore
Coast
point.
kickoff. This interstitial scene came along late in development to connect Ravenholm to Coast. Noticing a trend? Quite a bit of the connective tissue in our games comes together late. In this case, that meant cutting corners wherever possible. We didn't even have time to animate Alex on the monitor. These kinds of scenes are always a challenge to make interesting, and we didn't succeed with this one. It's a good example of what happens when NPCs are treated like signposts without adding character to them or the coast kickoff. This interstitial scene came along late in development to connect Ravenholm to coast. Noticing a trend? Quite a bit of the connective tissue in our games comes together late. In this case, that meant cutting corners wherever possible. We didn't even have time to animate Alex on the monitor. These kinds of scenes are always a challenge to make interesting, and we didn't succeed with this one. It's a good example of what happens when NPCs are treated like signposts without adding character to them or the scene. The result is a forgettable moment where the game's seams show. But that's the nature of development. You only have so much time, and you have to decide where to spend it. Kleiner's lab and Eli's lab were much more important, so that's where we focused our efforts.
I wouldn't say this bit is forgettable. Like, everyone's, like, Winston is like the biggest meme of all of Half-Life. Like, Winston's been hit. And then the song that plays is massively overrated. Like, people love it. Yeah, I guess this scene like doesn't really have much to it. Like, it's like the first bit of friendly faces you see after going through all of Ravenholm. I guess they could have put any scene here and it would have been fine, but like, I wouldn't say they failed with this one. Like, it's just a briefing, yeah. I think this is definitely like one of the more memorable cutscenes. I guess it's not too many of it. It beats anything from Entanglement.
Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, you read. Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO. Shore point to New Little Odessa. Come in Odessa, do you read? Shore point to NLO.